Okay, here we go. So just a short introduction. I'm Jenna Sherlock and I am a member of the marketing team here at Envisage, and I'm joined by our product specialist Ladislav, who is going to go through the main points about Power BI and do a short demo on it just to show everybody exactly what is involved in Power BI. So really this webinar, we want to show you what are the benefits of using Power BI for your reporting and analytics, and the advantages of using this solution over the standard Sage 200 BI option, which some of you may have already, some people may not have it at all, but we're going to show you the benefits of Power BI rather than the Sage 200 BI solution. We're going to demo how easy it is to use, how simple it is so for you to create your own reports and your own dashboards using Sage 200, and you can then visualize your data. Even if it comes from two different sources, you can still visualize it all in the one report. So the agenda for today, well, we're going to give a short intro to Power BI, show you how Power BI could help your business with the reporting, the dashboards and that. We will show a short kind of demo on how Power BI is on Power BI versus Sage BI, just to show the differences in Power BI. We will show you a few sample Power BI reports, and then Ladislav will go into an actual demo of Power BI for Sage 200 to show you just how easy it is for you to create your own reports and dashboards and to visualize your own data. And then we'll go through some Q&As at the end if anybody has any questions. As we said, just put any questions into the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen and we'll answer any questions at the end. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Ladislav, who's going to take over from here. Okay, so Ladislav, if you want to go through it there.
Okay, so welcome everyone once again. Good morning. As Jenna said, today we'll be talking about Power BI. So first of all, what is Power BI? Power BI is a business intelligence tool. It is a platform that lets you to visualize multiple sources of data in one place. I guess that's one of the biggest benefits of it. It integrates seamlessly with Sage 200 and other applications as well. Publishes the report securely. Everything is hosted in Microsoft's Azure cloud platform. You can have rich, personalized and interactive dashboards or visual elements on any of the reports. It's easy to use for the end user. Once the reports are set up, there is really rarely anything to do. It's highly flexible. There is limitations to everything, but Power BI's benefit is that it is very easy to customize to what you want to see on the screen at the end of the day. And of course, from the business side of things, it allows you to make informed decisions based on real-time data analysis. It's accessible through multiple platforms, not only web browser, but on your tablets and mobile phones. And you have the ability to consolidate multiple data sources, as I mentioned already, through Power BI. This means be it Excel sheets or many other SQL-based applications, or there is vast amounts of connectors that exist to many popular cloud-based applications out there. And of course, you have the option to schedule data refresh hourly or daily, whatever it is. There is again limits to that depending on your licensing of Power BI. So to go to next, so how can it help you in your organization, especially with Sage 200? You are probably spending a lot of time running same reports over and over, especially if you have multiple companies that can take a considerable amount of time, or you have multiple cost centers in single company. Again, to run reports individually for each cost center takes time, or you need to combine data for multiple sources, for example, Sage CRM or accounts data together in one report. Again, these are two separate applications, but you can't produce reports in a single report on Power BI. Or you're spending a lot of time creating your own pivot tables in Excel. Power BI often doesn't necessarily replace Excel fully. It really depends how you handle data. And we're going to go through it once you see it visually on the screen in the demo at the end of this. Just keep it in mind, often we have clients who want Power BI to prepare the data for them so they can actually export it to Excel the way they want to export it. So there is, again, that's another benefit to it. Or you need to produce different type of reports on regular basis and short notice. Again, this comes down to spending time on generating reports from Sage itself. So typical reporting bottlenecks, of course, you need to produce Sage 200 reports, but you also might need to include some of the data from a CRM or other external data, or be the spreadsheet as well. And then you can combine this data in Power BI, again, to show visually what you are trying to achieve on your reports. Or you just need lots of different types of reports with lots of different criteria for filtering. And again, just the speed of time for filtering on Power BI is very efficient and easy to use. Well, of course, I guess at the end of the day, the main goal of any report is to provide meaningful summary data that is easy for your team to visualize at glance and probably action based on the actual information given. And you need the information to be up to date and available on demand. Again, comes back to accessibility, not only on the web browser, but also on your mobile phone or tablet. So what is the difference between Sage Business Intelligence and Power BI? Well, Power BI works with Sage 200 Standard and Professional, requires Microsoft 365 to connect to Sage 200. There is a licensing involved, provides intuitive interface, and supports many different data sources, as we mentioned many times, both, again, web and mobile interfaces, whereas Sage BI works with Sage 200 Professional only, requires separate server to run analysis services, and it also is resource heavy when it comes to refreshing of the data. It's not as straightforward just to get the data out of the system. And of course, in Sage BI, you don't have the option to combine multiple sources. So there is few sample reports you can see on the screen at the moment from different sources connected to Sage. What you see here now is sales comparison from Sage based on your product groups, month compared to previous month and year. Or you can have, this is a simple, more of a CRM report, Sage CRM, where you can very quickly see your different territories, how many orders is open. So these kind of indicators on the top is what we call a card, and it is a very powerful way of very quickly showing what is happening in the business. So you just need to see, oh, okay, I have 205 open orders. Why is that? And you can action it straight away. So, and then of course you can go into detail on Power BI. So if you like your tables instead of graphs, which plenty of people prefer, tables are always an option with or without drill downs. Now, let me share my screen now and switch over to our Power BI demo. And it's gonna give you some idea. I hope I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, so what and how Power BI works. So you can see overall, this is the main screen where you actually visually build your data. What is important to know is before you get to this stage, there is a lot to do on the back of the data, especially with Sage 200. You need to make sure the data is prepared the way you need it before you display it in the ways you want to display it. So Power BI has evolved from Excel's pivot tables. That's where it comes from. That's what it's based on. So the idea is very similar. The formulas used are very close to what you often would use in Excel if you are advanced user in Excel. But because this tool is much more powerful than Excel, it has two different areas, and one handles all the data preparation in very different language than Excel. So this handles all the different links and how you extract the data and prepare the data the way you want to display it. And then is the whole visual component, which you have different visuals here. Of course, you have your charts and graphs and pie charts, different types of charts you probably know already. You have tree maps. You can use geomaps if you have, let's say, sales by territory, or already mentioned cards and KPI tools, tables and matrix tables. So there's plenty of basic and default visuals that are available. There is also the whole marketplace of custom built visuals, free or charge, and depends what you're looking for. Sometimes you might need something very specific, what you're trying to achieve. So there is plenty of things to pick from. But what I want to focus on in this demo today is probably to show you a few examples of how we use, or you can use, Power BI on top of Sage 200. Now, obviously, the main report from any accounting system would be the P&L and your trial balance. So there's many different ways you might want to display a P&L. The main thing is here that compared to Sage, let's say, on Sage, you are limited how we can display the P&L on the report. It doesn't let you to customize your groupings, doesn't let you to customize your descriptions. You can't even display the margin and calculations beside your figures. So these are the benefits of Power BI on top of Sage. So this is a sample of a report that shows my own groupings. So I have the sales, the cost of sales, my gross profit calculations set up very differently to what normally is Sage giving you. And then I'm displaying it month by month with the profit calculations or the contribution calculation on the lines that I want to show it on. Now, this report here, for example, is very flexible for the reason of being able to use your own descriptions and groupings. And the way it works, and when we go into the transform data section, so this is the section that handles all the different data handling and preparation. What we are doing here, and it's, if you are familiar with Sage 200's report setup and templates, you already are familiar with the report categories. We are doing it very similarly on Power BI. It was designed specifically similar way, so we can, a user, once this is set up, can simply go in and change the report category codes or the names, whatever it is. So you can see that we have a table here with either the group, the category, and then what's included in each of those. And this, so you can see the different categories. Let's say the sales over here, this is category 105, whereas our front of shop sales have these different 6 report categories included on that line. And then, of course, after that, you have to have a total line. So total revenue would be the summary of all of the above, so all the report categories on that. So very easy to change. I can literally just overtype total sales instead of total revenue. And when we close this, it would refresh on our tables. Now, might not necessarily work because I don't have the actual source on this side, but let's see what happens. That's simple as. So you can see now our total sales are called total sales instead of total revenue. So that's a P&L use. Now we have other uses, of course. And one thing I forgot to mention, most important thing about Power BI is and it is difficult at the start when you start your Power BI journey, is to be able to actually know what you want to see as a result of your Power BI and keep it within the constraints. Keep in mind, Power BI is a visual tool, and often you have to keep in mind what fits on the page you can see. Now, if there is tables involved, like if I open this report here, age debtors, you can see there is a table, there is a scroll bar, so you can scroll bar. If you use the report online, you can scroll through it, do whatever you want. You can export it to Excel again if you want to send it to someone, or you can export it to PDF. The only thing with PDF, if you export this to PDF, it's only what you see on the screen is going to be in PDF. So this is those few things you have to keep in mind depending on what you're trying to get out of Power BI. So back to my P&L. This P&L is designed so it fits the page, so I can export it to PDF and send it to whoever I need to. Whereas this report, the age debtors, is designed to be used online. So with the scroll bar, and is also often used by users to export to Excel and do further analysis if they need to. Now, having said that, you can do your analysis on Power BI online anytime. With this report, you can see the little filters section here. You can filter by any of the fields we have in the different tables. So I could go in and say, well, okay, my customer name is, and I can select similarly to Excel. Let's say I just want this customer here. There you go, very quickly. That's the beauty of Power BI. It shows you the data very quickly and it's responsive to filtering. I can clear the filter. Now on the page itself, if you don't want these filters to be visible for your end users, you can have different slicers and search tools. So for example, this search here lets you to search as a global search by supplier. So let's say I want this customer only, anything that has this name shows me only those customers. So this is an age data report. Again, you might wonder, why do I want this report on Power BI? This is one of our clients who recently wanted similar report, is being able to, first of all, very quickly to see this report anytime during the day without needing to go into Sage, and being able to filter by different customers because he or them might have different people looking after different customers. Or another report that's more visual, let's say this is a top customers report. So again, very simply, based on date, there is a date filter slicer here, so we can put in the dates. You can, you're showing three different things here. One, the list of all the customers between those days and the sales totals, the totals by cost center. So if you have cost centers in Sage, you have the different cost centers, again, in that period of time, what it was. And then we are also just showing the top 10 customers differently as a tree map. So just a different way of showing it. It could be a pie chart. Another nice thing on Power BI, it's very easy to switch from visual to visual. Now you might need to do sometimes few tweaks, but for example, if I switch from tree map to a pie chart, it's fairly straightforward. There it is, change straight away. There's a lot of formatting options as well. You have either visually, or if you have any other properties that you need to change. For example, and you can use the search, that's something they released recently in Power BI. Let's say I want to find the legend and I want to turn off the legend to make the pie chart a bit bigger. That's an option there. So, and of course, we can always turn it back to our tree map as it was. Another thing, and I mentioned it earlier, is the interactivity. So if you have multiple visuals on a report and you're using them online or as a presentation, let's say to your board of directors, you can interactively click on the different elements Now, not all of them are interactive, but most of them are. So for example, if I click on my cost center 2, I select it, you see that my list is now filtering out only the customers that are cost center 2. And also my top 10 customers table here, you can see that the bold colors here are updated. And if I hover over, I can see the highlighted value is my cost center 2 is showing separately. So, and I can just click it again, or I want to see Department of Education. So again, updated everything on my screen. So that's very handy if you are using the reports online. So that is very quickly what Power BI is. Maybe a few things to clear out as well. We do not sell Power BI. Power BI is a Microsoft product, and you can obtain it whenever you want. Now, and I would also encourage anyone to go ahead and do any of the free trainings that is available. It's very good to know what you can do with Power BI. What we do in Envisage is use our expertise, especially with Sage, to compile the report files for you, so they can be used the way you want them to use. So definitely, if you have any idea or you came across a limitation on Sage of reporting already, as many our clients did, then definitely, get in touch with us.
Okay, that was great, Ladislav. Thank you very much for that. Now I am going to see if I can share my screen again. Let me see. Hopefully this will be it now. Okay, so as Ladislav discussed there, we would advise that you go through, you take a look at all of the free training that you can. But what we can offer you then is to maybe, if you'd like to kind of go into Power BI a little more based on what your own needs and requirements are for reporting, whether it's with Sage 200, with CRM, with anything like that, we would say if you want to contact us, contact our sales team. As you can see, the email address is there, sales@envisagecloud.ie, and we can book a 2-hour consultation with one of our BI experts. They can then go through your needs, your requirements, and see what you would need from your reporting. Then we can send you an estimate in order to set up those reports for you. And then once we have everything confirmed, then we can schedule in the work for you. So if that's something of interest, then as I said, email sales@envisagecloud.ie, contact a member of our team. They can go through anything there with you. In as well as that, then if anybody has any questions or anything like that, please, if you have any questions now, then you can put them into the Q&A box. If not, again, you can contact us at any time. Again, it's sales@envisagecloud.ie would be the email address to send them to, and any member of our team then will be able to get in touch and help you. So I don't see any questions there at the moment. So I think that's everything. So our telephone number there, as you can see, is at the bottom of the screen, 01-822-3200. You can email support for any support queries you have with Power BI, or, as I said, email sales@envisagecloud.ie. So thank you everybody for joining. Thanks Ladislav for your input there. And so yeah, we're going to let it go then. So thank you very much everybody. Again, sales@envisagecloud.ie will be the email address. So thank you everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye bye.